Hey, good morning. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, good, good. Hey, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. While we're sitting here waiting for a few minutes for everybody to kind of join in, go ahead and put in the comments, where you're signing off from, what state, what branch of service you served in, the years that you served, so we can kind of get some shout outs kind of while we're waiting for everybody to join in.
Yeah,
Good
welcome
morning, Aaron.
everybody to today's Facebook Live.
I see Beverly. Hey, we missed you this morning, Beverly. It was a good day at Coffee with Coaches. Thanks for joining in on the Facebook Live, though. Missed your face this morning. Edward
Got
from Cedar
Edward.
Rapids, Iowa, Marine Corps, 90 to 91. Welcome, welcome. We got a good topic today for everybody. So I'm excited today. Excited to be with Coach Mark here with me today. So we'll get this thing kicked off here in about 5 minutes or so. Terry Lawson, Air Force, 86 to 92.
Got quite a few. Got another Air Force. Erica Gilmore. Even have a Coast Guard today.
Oh,
Welcome,
nice.
Tom.
Nice. Yeah, I don't see very many Coast Guard usually on here.
Yeah, welcome.
Erica Gilmore, Tom Wiggins.
What's going on, Eddie? Thanks for joining us.
Somebody from Chino, California. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah today, so I don't know if we have anybody out there in the Salt Lake area. Welcome, Donald. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday so far. We're halfway through the week, so looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully, have some decent weather. I don't know what it wants to do out here in Utah. It's like 80 one day and snows the next day, so it's kind of confused.
It's hot here in Texas, and it's just getting hotter.
I think I seen Renee. Hi Renee, military police. I was an MP back in the day. Thanks for joining.
Got Larry Mack with the United States Marine Corps, Savannah, Georgia.
Semper Fi. Hey Michael, welcome.
Thanks
U.S.
for your
Navy.
service.
Yeah, thanks for your service. Appreciate you. Dick Para, Air Force, 70 to 91. Man, that's a long time. Thanks for your service, sir.
We got a good shout out there from Terry Lawson. Went from 40 to 100 in 33 days.
Holy smokes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Good
I'll
stuff.
give it.
So we're good to kick it off, man. If we want to go ahead and introduce yourself, then I'll introduce myself, and we'll get things rolling, man.
Yeah, for sure. For everybody, my name's Coach Chuck Daniels. Been with VACI now for about 10 months. So coming up on that big 1 year mark. I'm retired Army, spent 26 years in the Army, started off artillery guy, blowing up stuff like every young kid wants to do. And then as I got a little older and a little wiser, I switched over to military police. Done that for a good while. Got some good gigs with doing some protective services for a 2-star. I got to travel all over Central and South America. Done that for a while. Then I went into recruiting command. So maybe we got some folks on here from recruiting command. Done my last 10 years in recruiting. Was stationed some good spots throughout my career. Was stationed down in Panama. Went to Puerto Rico for about 4 years. Kansas, Texas, California. Finally called it quits, retired in 2015. When I retired, I went through the DAV, filed my claims, ended up getting about 30% when I retired, and thought that that's all I could get. So set about 30 for about 7 years, and came across VACI. Matter of fact, I got a cousin that works here, Travis. Travis is my cousin, and he called me one day and started telling me about what he did and about VA Claims Insider, and I was like, my gosh, I didn't even know a place like this existed. So I joined as an elite member, and he took me from 30 to 80 in just a couple of months. So I was a true believer at that point, and it just so happened there happened to be some positions opening up with VA Claims Insider, and I became an elite member. And with that membership, man, you have all kinds of information at your fingertips. It's something that is hard to even talk about because there's so much information. Being an elite member with VA Claims Insider, and man, it's wonderful, wonderful. I wish I would have came across this many moons ago, and I would have been on top a lot sooner, I'm sure. But enough about me. I'll turn it over to you, Mark, and kind of let you introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you. Interesting career, man. Very interesting stuff. So I did not nearly as long in the military. I only did 7 years. I was an Air Force vet, and I was a dog handler. So Air Force, once you make a certain rank, they take your dog from you. So separated, got out, and that was when my frustration started with the VA. Lowballed me right out the gate. Didn't understand anything, how the process worked. That's kind of what dove me to educate myself, and how I found VACI. And the rest is honestly history. I loved the process, followed the process, had a great relationship with my coach, loved what they were doing for all the veterans and all the vets that are out there that need our help. And yeah, we were able to get on the team, get on board, and now we're out here helping vets. I do want to throw out there too, if you guys are hesitant, if you guys are wanting to reach out, we do have a 30-minute discovery call, or a discovery call where you can call in and ask your questions, see if you're a good fit for our company, see what we can do to get you into that increase.
Yeah,
Today,
it is. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man. Nope.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, you're right. It is, it is frustrating if you don't really know the process, right? And that's something that I kind of struggled with the process, and didn't really know how to do it or even where to start, and when I joined, VA Claims Insider, and Travis was explaining all that stuff to me, my coach, I was sitting back in awe saying, oh man, this is it. It's kind of clicking, right? So, if you get a chance, that 30-minute discovery call, is awesome. Some of y'all that have joined us today may be elite members already. We appreciate y'all for joining our team, and hopefully we've helped you along the way. But that 30-minute discovery call, just take the time to get on there, make that phone call, and talk to somebody on the phone, and like Mark said, see if we may be a good fit for you guys, because it's definitely something that everybody should at least do that part, and then we can kind of go from there and help you all with your claim process. Okay.
100%. And there's so many, even when you call, whenever you ask your questions, there's a lot of resources out there that the vets aren't even aware that come with the program, or that we even have. We've got our blog on our website, which is loaded with information. We've got Zoom classes we teach multiple times throughout the day, CNP prep classes. We really are here to help you from start to finish through this process. So definitely get in touch with us so we can get you helped. But let's get into today's topic, Chuck. Today we're going to be talking about a lifestyle impact claim. Let me pull
that
this
lifestyle
up.
impact claim is really huge, Mark. And it's something that I did through my process here at VA Claims Insider, and I think it's something that a lot of veterans, including myself, don't really think about, right? Because it is a high value claim. And for some vets like myself that was kind of stuck and didn't kind of know where to go, because I was already service connected for a few things, shoulder, back, hip, a few orthopedic things like that. But that's kind of the road that my coach kind of took me down, was that lifestyle impact claim, and kind of talked to me about how do those current service connected disabilities affect me mentally. And I had never really even thought about that at all. I was like, wow, this makes sense. Yeah, they do affect me. And I didn't really realize that until he brought that up to me. So this lifestyle impact claim, which is pretty much a mental health claim, right? But it's secondary to what you may already be connected for, and how those current service connected disabilities may affect you mentally, right? So it is a high value claim, and it's something that we really here at VA Claims Insider deal with a lot. And even my veterans that I coach along the process, when I'm kind of reviewing their stuff with them, that's kind of one of the things that I kind of bring up first, because it is something that veterans don't really think about in the back of their minds on how those service connections could be affecting them mentally.
Of course. And it's such a huge part as well, because being able to get something service connected. I mean, I remember whenever I got my first initial rating, I didn't even know what secondary connection meant or was, or that it was possible. I thought you just got what you got, and that's all there was to it. So, now knowing and what that lifestyle impact claim is exactly that, right? You guys who are service connected for all these different conditions, there comes a point and there comes a time where these conditions and these symptoms inevitably are going to cause some type of social or occupational impairment, right? For me, for example, I'm service connected for my back. I got a bad back, very common. Typically it's the back, the shoulders, or the knees, as far as musculoskeletal issues go with service members. But at the end of the day, the average rating for musculoskeletal is 10%, as opposed to the average rating for a mental health claim is 70%. So that alone kind of can point you in the direction of even what you claim and the conditions that you go for are going to create a night and day difference in your overall rating. So with that path there, with those conditions, your back, your knees, whatever it is that's causing that effect in your day-to-day life, hey doc, I can't go work out and I can't go to the gym and I can't lift weights like I used to back in the day. And that was my form of stress relief, right? Was either lifting weights, running. I can't, at the end of the day, the different impacts that even not being able to work out like I used to create, now I have to find different methods to cope and deal with the stress and whatever may come with that. So it is very, very important to understand the value behind the claim itself, as well as the ability to actually get it connected through secondary connecting it through what you already have connected.
That's right. Yeah, great points. Great points. And I think, just keep in mind too that sometimes I think, to be eligible for this lifestyle impact claim, right? Like, even though you already are service connected, keep in mind that 0% is still service connected. So I've worked with several vets that, when I take a look at their current breakdown of their service connected disabilities and things like that, sometimes I'll see on there that maybe a veteran may be connected at 0% for numerous things. I think I had one veteran one time that had like 8 or 9 service connected disabilities at 0%. So keep in mind that being 0% service connected still means that you are service connected and that you can qualify for this lifestyle impact claim, even being at 0 for different things. I think he was, 0, for, like I said, 8 or 9 different things, but those things did affect him. He just didn't really realize that because he was sitting at 0, that he could really do anything, secondary to that. So keep that in mind. That no matter what it is, as long as you're 0% connected or higher, that you do qualify for this. And I know you mentioned earlier, Mark, about the blog. And VA Claims Insider blog has so much information. It's phenomenal, the information that's on there, right? I use that thing. I go to it every single day that I'm at work. And when you go to it, when you go to VA Claims Insider.com, if you, at the top, it'll say like for veterans, by veterans. And if you hover, over for veterans
drop down.
It'll drop down and you just click on that blog, and there's a search engine box that you can type in there, whatever it is that you're looking for. And all the information is at your fingertips. This is the best education based place I've ever seen for anything when it comes to VA related disabilities. It's awesome. And I tell you what, that blog is awesome. And I preach it all the time to my veterans. I preach it on the classes that we offer throughout the week, the live classes that we offer to our elite members, because there is some great information in there. And the lifestyle impact claims, like I said earlier, it's one of those things that is a high value claim. And normally I would say on an average, for the most part, we see around 70% probably, I'm guessing. At least that's kind of what I see on my vets, when it comes to those lifestyle impact claims.
The average is 70. And the cool part, I'll touch on a few points that you just brought up even if you get a secondary service connected to something that's directly service connected to your service, you can secondary from a secondary. So if you aren't at the 70% level, wherever you're at, 0, 10, 30, 50, 70, 100 is the rating schedule for it. But even if you're at the 0 or the 10%, you can secondary a secondary. So now, once you get your mental health claim service connected to your service or service connected to your condition, at that point, you've kind of opened up the map to a potential of many other conditions that are going to be high value and that you can get service connected as well, right? I've seen headaches that were caused and aggravated by mental health, IBS, GERD, ED, which comes with special monthly compensation. So there's all kinds of little tidbits out there that even in the blog, if you use that as a tool for you guys, there's the 38 CFR in there, which is huge. That is the most critical piece of information, in my opinion, because that's a way that you guys can kind of self-check yourself and we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals, but nobody knows you better than you is what I always say. So I always encourage my vets to go and look at those symptoms, self-check themselves, be honest with themselves. Where do they fall? If, regardless of where they fall, if some of these are applicable, strategically, it's still going to be high value in the sense of going for other secondaries potentially.
That's right.
Yeah. But the second point that I wanted to touch on that was I have a lot of vets who come to me and are hesitant with mental health and they don't want to pursue that option, and I understand. I was there. Not knowing the process, it can be intimidating and it can, create that anxiety. But the 38 CFR, the rating schedule for mental health, as veterans, you can have multiple diagnoses. You can have, PTSD as well as, an adjustment disorder because of your physical conditions. It could be, insomnia. These are all under the same rating schedule, the same 38 CFR. So what's important here? Yes, the diagnosis is important. It matters. The nexus is important. It matters. But the symptoms for the veteran, you communicating the symptoms and the effect that they have on your social and occupational life is how you're going to paint that picture to speak to the lifestyle impact and to make sure that you're getting your point across on how these things are affecting you daily. Because essentially you are playing at a handicap that your fellow civilians and even other fellow veterans are not having to deal with while they're continuing to pursue their careers, their social lives, love lives, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think, like you said, it is kind of nerve-wracking, right? And when I was working with my coach here at VA Claims Insider, and he brought this up to me as kind of a path to go down, I was a little hesitant and scared because I kind of think also like, maybe depending on kind of when you served in the military, right? Kind of, back when I served, mental health was something people just kind of steered away from, right? And was maybe scared to kind of talk about those different things while they were in the service, because there's a lot of myths out there about how it affect your career. It might be career ending if you open up and you talked about it while you were still in the service. So when I did this claim myself, that stuff did kind of make me like anxious, right? To talk about. And I tell you, it was probably one of the hardest things that I ever did talk about. I'm not going to lie, because it was something I'd never done before. For one, it was scary to me to talk about it because I'm kind of more of an introvert. Don't really talk about mental health, my emotions, how my service connected disabilities affect me daily. So it was hard. Don't get me wrong; it was a hard process for me to get through. But with my coach and being an elite member with VA Claims Insider, he was there with me every step of the way. Right during the telemedica process and going through all of that, he was there coaching me kind of through all of that. So he kind of relieved that pressure on me to open up and talk about that. So he was a big help. Glad I did it. I feel better about it. When I went through the telemedica process and went through all the diagnosis and the psych eval appointment and all that, it kind of also prepared me for that CMP exam too, right? When I went through that process, because I hadn't been through a CMP exam in years, and I really forgot what it was and what it was about, but he was there, coached me through the whole process. So it did pan out. Just keep in mind though, I think that, sometimes we really look at what do we really need, right, for a successful claim. Okay, you got to have a current medical diagnosis. You have to have the in-service event, the nexus, right? Those things are kind of what makes you have a successful claim. So, a lot of times vets will come over to us, and the first thing I'll ask them are those three questions. This is what we need in order for you to have a successful claim. So, make sure that if you don't have, the diagnosis, that you set up that time with your doctor and all that stuff to get them three things for your claim. So it is scary, something we don't like to talk about, or at least me speaking for myself, I didn't like to talk about. But I'm glad I did, because it did pan out for me in the long run. So if you're new to Facebook Live and you're not an elite member, make sure that, if you get a chance, take a look at that discovery call that we do offer. There's a 30-minute discovery call that you can dial in, kind of see if you're a good fit, for the company, see if it's something that we can help you with your claim process, because it is, like Mark said earlier, it is confusing. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes there's vets on here that have never ever filed a claim ever, which is, to me, is exciting. I get excited kind of when I see that, because I'm like, oh my God, this guy, this veteran just spent 20 something years, in the military and has never filed a claim before. I get excited. I want to help them. I love helping veterans. I'm so glad I'm part of this team every single day. This is what we get to do. So make sure you guys pick up the phone, call in, do that discovery call, see if it's something that is going to be helpful for you, and hopefully you join our team, become an elite member, and we can kind of help navigate this process for you, because it can be challenging and scary at the same time.
Very much so. Well said. Let's throw out a few examples just so my veterans can or just so the veterans can get a good idea of the conditions behind the lifestyle impact. There's no limit to this, right? This is about your mental health first. So if you have things service connected, even if you don't, potentially there's, at the end of the day, when you come to us, whether you've never filed for a VA claim before in your life, whether you've been out of the military for 20, 30 years, at the end of the day, at any point in time, we're going to be able to assist you, point you in the right direction, and help you with the resources to get what's going to be needed to submit these fully developed claims. The lifestyle impact is the one claim that I look at, like you said, I look at first, and I look at really in depth, because I have my veterans. A lot of these symptoms, vets will have their perspective, and they'll have their ideas of how they're doing mental health. And especially for me, like, I know all my friends were vets who I either deployed with, or, at the end of the day, I didn't have many civilian friends. So they were dealing with a lot of the same things that I was dealing with. So instead of really being aware that I was even dealing with it, it was more so just a normal thing. So, that frustrated me, because it took me getting to a point of becoming aware of the symptoms even being applicable to me. Because then in the first go around, the first exam, the doc was asking me questions, and I played it straight. Like, you're not going to take my dog. Nope. It's not going to happen. So yes, no, yes, no. And, I don't want to say it shot me in the foot, but then obviously I wasn't fairly rated. And then once I learned the process, and I was able to, look at that 38 CFR, get coached up for the CMP prep, which you'll also get when you become an elite member. You've CMP prep with the Zoom classes. You'll get a CMP prep call with your coach before the exam. That way you can ask any questions that you've been sitting on, whatever it may be. But it is very, very important that, you follow the strategy behind it, because depending on your situation, your case, it is a very much so case by case, even round by round basis with our vets when it comes to the strategy. So I encourage you guys to get with your coach. I've helped veterans who had nothing, and we were able to slowly but surely chip away, get our foot in the door, get them service connected for tinnitus. And then from tinnitus, my grandpa is actually in town from Italy. He's older. He's been out for about 25, 30 years now, if not longer than that. And he's got it really bad, like really, really bad, to the point where I get annoyed hearing him talk about it. So I've been in his ear, like, listen, man, you need to get involved with VACI and go talk to a doc, because if I have to hear you talk about this year again. But it's bad, and it can be bad. At the end of the day, tinnitus, even though it's a low value claim, 10% are not service connected. That's something that there was actually a Fortune 500 CEO who I believe this year actually took his life because his tinnitus was so bad. So it can cause stress, anxiety, having to deal with it, having to, I've been on, not Facebook Live, thankfully, but on calls with veterans where my ears will start ringing. And I'm like, hey, I know you've been waiting a week to talk to me, but I'm sorry, let me call you back in 30, 45 minutes. So know your symptoms cold, be aware of your symptoms, thick and thin. I go through and I self-check myself, and I look at all the symptoms on that 38 CFR to kind of see where I align. And if you have those service connected conditions, we can assist you in getting that evidence.
Yeah, great points. Great points. And you're right, that tinnitus is kind of one of those things too, right? That sometimes I think, veterans have lived with it for so long that they don't really think much about it, and tinnitus is something that you can do a lifestyle impact claim secondary to, no doubt about it. And I have tinnitus. I spent 9 years in artillery blowing stuff up, and my ears ring all the time. And sometimes it gets so bad that I go completely deaf. Like, it just feels like somebody just put earplugs in my ears and started pushing. It just goes deaf, and all of a sudden I get this high pitched ringing noise, right? But it's a little bit different, I think, for a lot of different veterans when it comes to tinnitus and things like that. But lifestyle impact claims is kind of what we're talking about here today. So, it is one of those things that you can pretty much do secondarily to any of your service connected disabilities, right? And think about how they affect you mentally when it comes to occupational and social impairment, which is something I didn't really know anything about, right? But that's kind of key, right? How does this affect me at work? How does this affect me around family and friends? Well, at work, it definitely affects me, because heck, half the time I can't hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to read your lips because my ears are ringing so bad. Well, that does affect me, right? And being around family and friends and talking about the social environment, it kind of keeps me from wanting to go out and hang out with people, because I'm a little embarrassed about, maybe asking them to repeat themselves and things like that. So it does affect you, whether you really think about it in those two ways or not. But there are a lot of things out there that affect veterans daily. And keep in mind that, I know you talked about 38 CFR and the ratings, for lifestyle impact claims, it could be anywhere from 0 to 10 to 30 to 50 to 70, all the way up to 100. And I have seen veterans go from 10% tinnitus and do a lifestyle impact claim and go all the way to 100%. I've seen that happen. So depending on how bad that is and how bad your symptoms are, that's kind of what determines that, right? So kind of like Mark said earlier, know your symptoms, and don't be scared to talk about them. I think that's kind of, when I went through this process, I think that's kind of what I had a little trouble dealing with, was expressing myself. I knew my symptoms, and I kind of, like you said, I kind of matched it up to kind of see where I was falling, right? But it was hard for me to talk about those symptoms. And I really had to, what we like to say is be uncomfortably vulnerable, right? You have to do that. You have to open up and talk about your symptoms. Okay. So there is, VA Claims Insider has done a great job of prepping me as a client, not only as a client, but also as a coach, and kind of, helps me be able to talk to those veterans that I take on, as clients as well. So, being able to go through the process myself and then turn right around and help a veteran go through that exact same process that I went through makes it easier for me, right? To be able to talk that process with them and how to do a lifestyle impact claim, myself, has definitely helped me so much as a coach. So if you're just now joining in, logging in, um, make sure that you take advantage of the 30-minute discovery call that we offer to all our veterans. It doesn't cost you anything to do that 30-minute discovery call. Just call in, talk to one of our business development representatives, ask them questions. They're really good at what they do. They're very professional. They understand the process. So, take that time, dial in, ask about us. If it's something that you really want to do, I would highly recommend joining, as an elite member, because you do get a lot of benefits, being an elite member with VA Claims Insider. Not only do you have access to your coach, direct access to a coach here, at VA Claims Insider, but you also have, the classes that we do, like you said, every day of the week, the CMP prep classes, elite member Q&A sessions where you can kind of join in on these Zoom calls, ask questions. Maybe you're in a part of the process, getting ready to use telemedica or getting ready to do your CMP exam, or just have questions about a strategy. That's kind of where your coach, is going to come in, because you're going to have that one-on-one session with your coach, and he's going to kind of look through all of your information. And when I have my initial strategy calls with my vets, I want them to know that this is our plan together, and when I review their information, I let them talk, tell me what's going on with them. And then I kind of look at it a different perspective and kind of look at the big picture strategy on kind of, okay, we can go here, do a secondary to this or that. Which makes it a little easier, I think, when you're doing a secondary claim to something that you're already connected for. Makes it, a little tougher, I think, for the VA to deny something like that if it's secondary to something that you're already connected for.
Very much so the case. I both personally experienced it, as well as all the vets we help on a daily basis. Secondary is the way to go. That's why that lifestyle impact is so important and so crucial, because, not to be redundant, but going back to, you get that service connected regardless of where you fall when you self-check yourself and kind of where your symptoms lie. You get that connected, you now open up the door to other secondary claims that could have potentially never been able to get service connected. You've now, if you get it service connected, have the path to 100%. You can be rated at 100%. The symptoms have to be severe, and you guys can take a look at that. But ultimately, knock on wood, God forbid, if you guys ever get put in that situation where the symptoms do get worse or do get that bad, you guys now can file for an increase, and boom, it's possible, as opposed to before, not having that connected. And, wherever you may be rated with whatever may be connected, a lot of times there's still ways to look for increases in other avenues. But that kind of leads me to another point I wanted to make. Of a common question I get is the vets who have multiple conditions. Well, it's not just that one. It's not just the tinnitus. Do I have to just pick that one? This is just mental health. How are your symptoms, mental health? And then when you're communicating and you're thinking about your symptoms and how they affect you, it's articulating the service connected conditions and the effect that they have on your day to day, right? So it's not necessarily limited to one or the other. I typically, for filing purposes, will tell my vets, like, hey, whichever one gives you the most grief or causes you the most pain. But for me, I'm connected for plantar fasciitis. I've got vets who've got 5 or 8 or 9 different claims, and they're all service connected. It can be all of them that are contributing to the mental health as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's a great point. Because it can be a combination of several things. Kind of like for me myself, when I did go through the process, it wasn't just the tinnitus. It was a combination of lots of different things that affect me. And one thing I think that I try to really open up and talk about with my vets is when you go through this process of doing a lifestyle impact claim, um, a mental health claim, is don't downplay your symptoms. Okay. Really, really open up and talk about them. Okay. Because that's key. And sometimes it's hard. It was hard for me to not downplay and be like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't want people to, think that I'm mentally ill or whatnot. But, my coach did do a great job of letting me know, hey, open up, talk about it, even if it's a severe symptom and you don't want to talk about it and you have that symptom, do it. It's key. It's important. Okay. And lifestyle impact claims, like I said, they are definitely high value claims. I bet you the majority of most folks that probably, join through VACI, probably have went down that path and it's paid off. I did see a comment from a Facebook user a minute ago that I think it was from June, where we took them. Yeah, it was. Oh, here it is. You guys are awesome. I just won my claim for mental health, anxiety, and depression. I went from 20 to 80 in 3 months after joining VA Claims Insider. I did my mental issues secondary to tinnitus. Thank you very much, VA Claim. Prime example. Prime example right there. And that was kind of the same boat that I was in. I was sitting at 30 and went from 30 to 80 on my lifestyle impact claim. So thank you for that shout out. We appreciate you. I'm glad we could help you. And your coach is very vital in this whole process for you. So when you join the elite membership program, kind of like I mentioned earlier, you have so much access, and this is an education based program. There's so much in it for you. You could spend days and days, probably weeks and months, reviewing all of the information that we have at your fingertips, and having that coach by your side through the entire process, every step of the process was key to me, because I was kind of wondering, what do I do next? Okay. So I'm going to do this lifestyle impact claim. Where do I go? Where do I start? What do I do? Well, my coach was right there. Okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get an email. This is going to have the telemedic information. You go on there, you sign up with Telemedica, use your own doctor if it's your own doctor that you're going to use for your diagnosis. After you get done with that, let me know. I'll get you to the next step. So it's really, really easy once I sit back and look at it now, how easy it was. But, I was scared of the process, because it had been 7 years since I filed anything before. So it was really super handy having my coach there with me, through the process. And that's one of probably the hugest things that you really get with the elite membership program when you join VA Claims Insider, is that coach to be there for you Coaches are busy. Don't get me wrong. We all have lots of veterans that we work with every single day. But I try to get an answer back to at least my vets by the end of the day if they reach out to me. So that is one huge part of being an elite member is having that coach because they have the experience. They've done it several times for other vets. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, if you're not a member, check us out. Hopefully you can. Hopefully we're a good fit for you. You can become an elite member. Take advantage of that discovery call that we've mentioned a few times, just to kind of see if it's something that you may be interested in. So hopefully you can become part of the team and we can get you on your journey to winning your claims.
Well said. Especially, I'll add one little piece. Especially once it starts getting to the trickier waters, right? Once you start getting the denials and the pushback and the oh no, what forms now do we use a 0995 or a 0996? At the end of the day, even the Zoom classes, there's specialty classes on the weekends. There's the Q&As for elite members where you can literally jump on. You have access to not only your coach, your main go-to guy, or gal, but also you have the Zoom classes where you can jump on and different coaches teach it throughout the week, where if you have your questions, that's what that is for, the Q&A. You ask away. You hear veterans ask their questions. Sometimes you hear things or even discover. I've had veterans who have suffered with conditions for years, didn't know it was a condition or something that was claimable, rateable. They were in a Zoom class, and then all of a sudden somebody mentioned it and said a question, and the vet was like, what? I've had that for years, and all of a sudden it opened up a path to even more benefits. So definitely get with the coach. But yeah, we do
Great
some Q&A.
point. That's a great point, and I'm glad you brought that up, and Bobby Joe Rogers just put in there at VA Claims Insider, you get assigned a coach, but you honestly get a team of coaches and thousands of hours of class info. Hey, thanks, Bobby, for posting that in the chat there. That's awesome because you are right, Mark. You hit the freaking nail on the head. Like those classes, and there's, I don't know everything. Every coach, at VA Claims Insider doesn't know everything. But that's why you get, when you join VA Claims Insider as an elite member, you really do have access to every single, different coach there because every week, different teams of coaches give classes, different teams of coaches do the coffee with coaches, the CMP prep classes, the elite Q&A, all of the Zoom classes that we offer every week is ran by a different group of coaches. So you're right. There's different things that other coaches may, may know or talk about during those classes that I didn't think about. I tell you what, during coffee with coaches every single morning, even veterans that have been part of VA Claims Insider, like you said, that have had different disabilities or claim different things, they have little gold nuggets that they pop in there, So it's like, wow, I didn't even think about that. So it is something that is super exciting, different, like you say, different avenues to approach different things. It's all there, and it's great. I love this morning coffee with coaches was awesome. A lot of the older vets that have been with us for a few years, it's kind of good to see their perspective on kind of how they've kind of ventured through the process with us. And it's great to see a lot of them, even Mark have already reached 100%. They've already reached their goal, right? But they still come back and they still join our classes. And it's good to have those vets on there that talk to some of the newer vets, maybe that just joined and kind of talk about their process that they went through with their coach and whatnot. But this is an amazing company. I love it here. I love helping vets, and it gets me excited to talk about different claims, different avenues that maybe you as a vet don't really think about, when it comes to filing claims, especially the secondary claims, which is kind of what we're hitting on today with the secondary lifestyle impact claims.
It's that sense of community, man. That's why I left my last job for this one, and it's just from the clients to the coaches to the administrative team to the company as a whole, everyone who's at VACI has and wants to help and wants to be there, and just the sense of community that we've created, not just for the veterans, but even for the coach. Like, I mean, I'm a vet too, so a lot of the things that the clients deal with, the coaches deal with also. So you gain a lot from it, even just that sense of community, just that camaraderie of hanging out. I mean, I coffee with the coaches, depending on who the team or who the coach is. Sometimes they be talking a little smack to each other. It's all fun and games, but we have a really good time and we learn a lot, and it's all good information that as a vet, it's just good for you to know for yourself, for your fellow vets, that you can pass on to the people you served with, or we've got coaches, senior coaches now who've got children. Shout out to SVC Darrow, whose son just shipped off for boot camp. And, now it's up to us to continue to grow and push the education to for the future vets coming out, and even for the ones that have been out. But I say we got 15 minutes left. Let's knock out some Q&A for you guys. So feel free to just type in your questions in the chat, and we will do our best to knock out as many as we can.
Yeah. Thanks for that. You jumped on that coffee with coaches. We had a good time this morning, chatting. If you guys are members with us and you haven't joined in on coffee with coaches, that forum is really good, right? It's kind of how you start your morning, and there's no better community than a community full of veterans because we all get each other, right? You're right, Bobby Joe. It is a family. And it's, sometimes it gets emotional on there. We laugh with each other. We cry with each other. We talk about things because I think that sense of community and camaraderie, like you talked about, is something that nobody will understand but a veteran. I'm serious. I love it. It's fun. One thing I was going to mention was, you talked a little bit about the process and the claims process. When you kind of start getting into it and your claim comes back denied, because not every claim is going to be one. It's just not, right? But where do you go? What do you do once that claim was denied, right? What form do I need to fill out? Where do I go? How do I file this HLR? Or how do I file this supplemental claim? That's where your coach is going to be a big part of. But keep in mind that we here at VA Claims Insider are here to support, but keep in mind that we're not an organization that's going to do it for you, right? This is your claim. We're here to support, help, educate, kind of guide you through the process. But as far as filing your own claim or filing your claim for you, we won't do that. But we can assist and make sure that, we're walking you through the correct process. So there's no issues with that. But, like I said, there's nobody going to take your claim more serious than you, right? This is your claim. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you, support you, walk you through every document that you need to do to make your claim successful. But in the end, it's your claim, and the effort that you put into it depends on you. So lots of times, when I'm talking to a veteran, hey, we need this or this or this completed, and I send it to them. If you have questions, let me know. But for the most part, you're kind of doing it on your own as far as the paperwork. But your coach is definitely here to assist you. So just want to put that out there. Welcome everybody. We're gonna probably go into the Q&A like Mark said. So we'll hopefully, I doubt we're going to get to every single question, but we will try our best to try to knock out some before we end here. Okay. Did you find any good ones in there, Mark?
Mark Nichols asked us, I should say, where'd it go? If lifestyle impact claim is the same as somatic symptom disorder claim. So somatic symptom disorder is a diagnosis. Lifestyle impact claim is a term, right? So the diagnosis itself, again, remember, because of pyramiding and because of how you're rated, comes down to your symptoms, not the diagnosis itself. That might affect how we file, right? A PTSD diagnosis is going to be a direct service connection. But depending on the diagnosis that the medical professionals, and that's whether you go through your own doctor, through telemedica, they can assist you based on your symptoms and that evaluation on what that diagnosis even may be. But to clarify and to answer that question, It is, I guess, the same because it's a mental health condition, but it's regardless of the diagnosis, the symptoms are really what matter here for your lifestyle claim.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mark, for that. I see a question there from, I hope I don't butcher your name. I think it's June Ramos. Ask if I signed up, who selects who will be my coach, or could I change during the process in case I need to do so? Great question. When you first sign up with us, a coach will be assigned to you, and you know, it is possible for you to switch coaches. All the coaches here are trained professional, do a great job at what they do. But sometimes, right, sometimes veterans maybe just don't click, together. So it's possible. Usually what would happen is at least on my team that I'm on, if we have, a veteran maybe that isn't clicking right with their coach or whatnot, sometimes our senior veteran coach will reach out to us and say, hey, would you guys mind if we switched up to kind of see how that relationship could be built? You know what I'm saying? So it is possible, June, to switch coaches. I don't think, everybody does a great job. All the coaches are great, but we don't want, you jumping around to 10 different coaches. I think if you're looking for certain information that maybe you're not getting from your coach, like Mark said earlier, join some of those classes that we offer, those Zoom classes that we offer throughout the week. And, you may get a different perspective from a different coach by asking your questions, maybe that you're not getting a direct answer from your specific assigned coach. But thanks for that question. We appreciate you, and hope you do get signed up with us.
All right. So James Griffin asks, was an infantry and medic from 1964 to 1970, had bad headaches before and many years after service. Didn't go on a sick call, went to doctor for years with headaches and stopped 20 years ago. Still have headaches. Can I file without Army records of a headache? Yes. You, in order to file a claim, in order for a claim for it to should be service connected or granted, you need the three things in the Kaluza triangle. So if you have a current diagnosis, if you have that in-service event or aggravation, right, to be able to go secondary, and you have the nexus, then you meet those Kaluza triangles and you should hopefully have success. Sometimes you have to fight back, additional evidence, whatever it may be. But if you have no records, we can still help you. We can help you gather evidence. We can help you get evidence. We can help with things to include, right? If you're going to file a headache claim, a lot of times it's beneficial to include a headache tracker. Track your headaches, see how often you're having them, how bad they're getting, what you're doing to try and make them better, all that good stuff. But don't let time or don't let lack of records keep you from reaching out to the ACI.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. I see a question there from Fred Hawkins. Thanks for joining this morning, Fred. The question is, do you have to get a doctor or diagnosis to say that you have a lifestyle impact to file this type of claim? Yeah, kind of like what Mark just said. You do have to have that diagnosis, Fred. So, if it's something that you're already connected for, like we mentioned earlier in the class, and you're looking to do a lifestyle impact claim secondary, you have to have that diagnosis, in-service event, and the nexus, right? That kind of ties your mental health diagnosis that you're diagnosed with to your service-connected disability that's affecting that, okay? Hopefully I answered that for you. Let's see. Let's see if I can find something else in here.
So Emmett Taylor, what VA forms do you need to complete for this claim? It's specific for each veteran, right? If it's a new claim, it'll be done on the 526 Easy disability application. If it's an appeal, depending on if it's supplemental, which would be a 20-0996 VA form, or if it was, did I say supplemental? Higher level review is a 0996, and then a VA supplemental claim, which is when you have new and additional evidence, it's going to be done on a 20-0995. So it all just depends on your claim there, Emmett.
Yeah, another question here from Eddie Peters. Says I can file for this secondarily to my foot, back, knee, lower radiculopathy, and tinnitus. I think I could get a rating for the lifestyle impact claim. I can't do anything. Yes, I think if I'm understanding your question right, Eddie, absolutely. All the things there that you are connected for, as long as you're connected for those disabilities that you mentioned here, absolutely. When you join and you get with your coach, that's probably the route that he would take you down anyway. So, absolutely, if you're service connected for those things and they are affecting you, mentally, by all means, you could absolutely do a lifestyle impact claim secondary to those service connected disabilities that you already have. Yes.
One thing I want to add too, Chuck, before I forget, for my vets out there who already have a mental health condition service connected, and a lot of times they won't even think that it would be under the same rating schedule. For example, my insomnia was under the mental health rating schedule. So if that's the case and you're already service connected and you're connected for PTSD or any of the other mental health conditions, going for a lifestyle impact claim, I don't want to say is necessarily not, it's case by case, but you'd be better off filing for an increase. You're already service connected. You've already got half that battle. Now you
Right.
just need to speak to your current symptoms, right? So every situation is different. All the more reason to get in touch with us to see what we can do. That way we can take a look. Because that's, as coaches, one of the first things we do is we have our vets. You upload all your documents. You upload your required things for us to review and look at, denial letters if things have been denied, whatever it may be. And from there, we can dive deep and really give you the best path forward, the path of least resistance. What's the easiest, the fastest, and the cheapest way to get you to the top of the mountain, wherever you feel like you should be fairly rated.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's a great point. That's a great point. We got time for a couple more questions here. I see one. Looks like from June Ramos. Is the payment amount for telemedica depends on the claim submission, or is it the same amount for any type of claim? So it varies, June, on the what you're trying to use telemedica for, right? If you are trying to use telemedica for a diagnosis or for a nexus letter or for a psyche eval, things like that. But if you go to their website, you can see the price list on there. And, hopefully, you can kind of see what they charge on there for their prices. But, being an elite member with VA Claims Insider, they do have some discounts and stuff on there. So just feel free to check out their website. They have a pricing list on there. Okay.
Philip Gonzalez says, I should make a claim. I have 30% plantar fasciitis for both heels. After 20 years of service and running a day, I can't do it now after 7 years of retirement. I've gained so much weight. If I run, I can't walk or climb my house stairs to my room. I had to quit USPS because my feet ankles are killing me. That right there, I had to quit USPS. Occupational impairment, right, guys? So that is kind of the key fact, the key phrase right there in terms of this is exactly what I mean by your service connected conditions and the dramatic effect it can have in your overall life. I think we lost my partner here, so we'll go ahead and finish up these last 2 minutes solo. All right, so Mark says, why does it seem like the VA is working against the veteran? Field artillery here, hearing test shows lots of hearing, and they gave me hearing aids, filed for tinnitus, but was denied, ... What? Exactly. So that is what I mean by when you hit that wall of frustration, when you kind of get to that point where you're not understanding why things are getting denied when you feel like they shouldn't. That's probably time to get with the coach, because we can read those decision letters. We can see and decipher why they're telling you it's not service connected and what we'll need to do to fight back on that claim. So if you're missing the nexus, you could have had a bad exam. Sometimes you do everything right as the vet. Sometimes you have all your ducks in a row, you submit all your evidence, and they still deny it. And that is the most frustrating thing, in my opinion, ever, especially when you wait weeks and weeks and months. But do not stop, do not give up, because I'm telling you, you have to keep going. We can always get more evidence. We can always adjust. We can always do what we can to help you. That is top of the hour, though, guys. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for joining. I wish you guys the best of luck. Get signed up. Let us know if you need help. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.